Unit 7. Newspapers. Pre-reading questions. Choose the best word to complete these sentences. Mistake search magazine editor decided rescue. 1. Ben's favorite is all about planes. 2. A helicopter went to the sailors from the sinking ship. 3. Anna to join the basketball club. 4. Mum lost her ring and we had to for it everywhere. 5. Put the news story about the fire on the front page. 6. Always correct A when you notice it.
Hold the front page. 2000 years ago. There were no newspapers. When something important happened, people told each other about it. News traveled slowly. Sometimes it was weeks before people heard about a battle or the death of a king. More than 1,000 years ago, the Chinese government wrote news on silk. It was news about what the government was doing. It did not tell people about other things that were happening. 400 years ago, the first newspaper appeared in Germany. It was printed every week. It took a long time to print all the copies. 200 years ago, the new printing presses could print much more quickly. And newspapers were sold on the streets every day. Now, we have newspapers in the morning and in the evening every day of the week, and millions of papers are sold all over the world. Some newspapers have lots of pages and sometimes there is a separate magazine inside it, too. Reporters go to the scene of a news story and find out what happened. They write about it and photographers take pictures. The editor reads the reporter's work and decides what will be in the paper. If there are mistakes, the editor will change some words. Sometimes an editor says, "Hold the front page." This means a story is very good and will appear on the front page instead of something else. It is very exciting for the reporter who wrote it. The story on the next page was written by a young reporter. It is front page news. Blackdown Daily News. Lucky to be alive. A father and daughter saved the life of an injured climber yesterday. Their quick actions prevented a terrible disaster, said Bill Day of the search and rescue team. Jenny Brown and her father were walking in the Blackdown Hills yesterday. They found rock climber, Joe Carver, lying at the bottom of Blackdown Cliff. Jenny said, "We haven't got a mobile phone, so we couldn't call anyone." The man was unconscious and he had bad injuries. While her father was putting a blanket over the man, Jenny noticed a mobile phone under his body. When she pulled it from under him, she realized it was connected to the search and rescue team. Team leader Bill Day said, "Joe Carver phoned us but then he suddenly stopped speaking. We didn't know where he was. We waited for a long time. Then we heard Jenny's voice. The rescue helicopter went straight to the cliffs and picked up the climber." Pilot Fred Hall said, "I have been in the rescue team for 20 years. And Joe Carver is the luckiest man I know. Snow was starting to fall and he almost died of cold. Last night Joe Carver was recovering in hospital. He said, I have climbed mountains since 2001. I have never fallen before, but I won't climb alone next time." Read the sentences. Write true or false. 1. 2000 years ago newspapers traveled slowly. 2. The Chinese government wore silk. 3. The first newspaper appeared in Germany. 4. 400 years ago newspapers were printed every day. 5. Sometimes there is a separate magazine inside a newspaper. 6. The reporter decides what will go in the paper. 7. Jenny Brown and her father were walking in the Blackdown Hills last week. 8. Jenny used her phone to speak to the search and rescue team. 9. The helicopter took the injured man to hospital. 10. Joe Carver has fallen several times before. Talk about the answers to these questions. 1. How many newspapers can you name? 2. Do you ever look at the sports page in a newspaper? 3. Which word do you think describes Jenny best? Why? A. Brave. B. Clever. C. Kind. 4. Why do you think Joe Carver said, "I won't climb alone next time"?
Listen and read. Molly, have you always lived in Blackdown? Sam, no. When I was little, we lived in a village in the country. Molly, so how long have you lived here? Sam, we've lived here for 8 years. Molly, do you live in a house or an apartment? Sam, we've got an apartment in Sun Street. It's on the top floor. Molly, lucky you. We're on the ground floor. Sam, where do you live? Molly, in that new apartment block in Park Road. We've been there since August. Terrible. Action. Ages. Alive. All over. Apartment. Appeared in. Balcony. Battle. Blackdown. Blanket. Block. Body. Injured. Injury. Inside. Instead of. Jealous. Kit. Lane. Luckiest. Lucky. Lying at. Magazine. Millions. Mistake. Bottom. Bully. Chinese. Cliff. Climb. Climber. Cold. Connect. Copies. Country. Daily. Daughter. Death. Decide. News. Newspapers. Notice. Pages. Photographers. Picked up. Planes. Presses. Prevented. Printed. Realized. Recovering. Reporters. Rescue. Decided. Disaster. Editor. Exciting. Fair. Fed up. Front. Government. Ground floor. Heard about. Helicopter. Hills. Hold. Important. Revenge. Scene. Search. Separate. Silk. Sinking ship. Sold. Straight. Suddenly. Top floor. Unconscious. Under. Voice. Valley.